Welcome everybody, and my name is Subramaniam, and I'm from Knauf Ceiling Solutions. And a very warm welcome to one and all, and my heartfelt and sincere gratitude for attending this seminar. And I know that everybody is busy in their work, and thank you for giving me the gift of your time today, and I hope I would not disappoint you. Today's topic that I have taken for presenting is modernizing railway station and how can Knauf Ceiling Solutions contribute to it. So moving forward, the topics of today's discussion is a little bit of an introduction about what Knauf is, and I would try and be as visual as possible and show you a lot of examples of what we have done in India and around the world. So let's move on to the next slide, which is a little bit about Knauf. So Knauf is a global major, an 8.5 billion euro major who is into building construction products. And the very recent addition of Knauf Ceiling Solution is their fourth division, which is the Knauf Ceiling Solutions. And this has been made by acquiring Armstrong Ceiling Solutions business in Europe and Asia Pacific. Knauf in itself is the best organized, decentral, and family owned company in the world, run by passionate general partners and employees. We have four major divisions, which is uh, Knauf Gypsum, which is the largest one, Knauf Insulation, Knauf Industries, and the fourth one is the Knauf Ceiling Solutions. We have about 220 plants around the world, and uh, we have about 27,000 employees who work in different parts of the world. And that gives a lot of impetus on innovation and investment driven growth around the world. A little bit about what Knauf is in India. And Asia Pacific. So Knauf Asia Pacific's headquarters is located in Shanghai, China. India is one of the major geographies in Asia Pacific. And we have about 16 offices and 13 manufacturing plants around Asia. One of the major manufacturing plant is also located uh, in India, in Pune, where we constantly are expanding to meet with the demands of customers. We have got representation in many take up supply and installation work around a lot of places in India. That being said, the major highlight of India's business is the new Inspire Solution Center, which is nothing but the engineering and design office. So the engineering and design office is a new design hub, which is based out of Mumbai and caters to geographies that not just is limited to India, but also uh, Southeast Asia and Australia. On to the next slide. What do we offer in our design services? So we offer collaborative design, detailed layouts and drawings, specification, and we also help to make ceilings that meet up with your budget. And not just that, we also help in assist you in installing the product, not just supply of the product. And we offer services like shop drawings and pre-construction assistance that can help with the installers understand the installation much better and give you a much better output. We start off with the entire thing by understanding what your needs are. And we have a proven process that could help uh, come out with a project output that is as desired by the architect or the end customer. And we take into account key selection criteria like acoustics, seismic, uh, light reflectance, durability of the product, wind uplift in exterior buildings, and we also take care of testing and installation support and trainings and mock-ups to ensure that the product is exactly what you had asked for. Uh, so just to go along with this, we also have uh, uh, products that are fully tested. Every one of our product is being researched and engineered to meet up with your requirements, and we ensure that the products are safe when it comes to fire and seismic. And we also have in-house testing facilities, and we have also tied up with universities to ensure that the product is tested as per international standards. And not just this, when we also offer you ceilings that are for exterior, we ensure that our system is completely tested for wind uplift conditions. Let me start off with a case study that we have done for a railway project in, sorry, I think I missed the slide. Yeah. So the project is Paddington station, which is in UK. It's a very, very famous station, as you would know it, made famous further by this cartoon character Paddington Bear. So what have we done in this project? We have actually done a vertical baffle ceiling installation, and the baffle itself is in an exterior location and installed at an angle. So the challenges were in front of us were that the installation had to be done at an angle. So the entire ceiling had to be designed to meet up with the angular installation. The customer also wanted accessibility by removing each one of those panels. So we had to take care in designing the parts and pieces, the connections, to ensure that the panels were demountable. And of course, uh, when we are installing a ceiling that is in the exterior, we need to ensure that both the material and the finishes meet up with the wear and tear, the corrosion that comes out of the exterior environment. Uh, a simple cross section of this would actually show that on both ends of the platform where the trains would come and meet up. So the installation is done in an angular fashion. And the area that bridges up between both the ends, which is right in the center, the baffles are installed horizontally. So this is the cross section of the platform, basically. And what solution did we come up with? So the solution was a very simple uh, aluminum extruded baffle that has been specifically cut to size and angles. And the installation itself, when we design the clips are designed to ensure that the baffle blades are exactly sitting in the same specific angle that has been mentioned. And not just that, the clips that were used for suspending these can easily be removed with hand. So whenever you would need to access the area above the ceiling, it can easily be done up with. And finally, the choice of material, which is aluminum and powder coating, has been made to ensure that this material can withstand the weather conditions and can be there for a very long time to come. Yeah, so a simple example or a simple photograph of the mock-up, which you would see in your screen here. So we did both mock-ups of the horizontal as well as the angular installations. And the final result is there in the slide, which you would see out here. And we not just that, we have also a lot of other examples of how stations can actually be looking international, not just anywhere outside, but right here in India, we have this example of Delhi Metro Rail. So this is an example of what Armstrong has offered in Lajpat Nagar station. So the baffles have been installed at the platform level and have been designed to withstand the wind uplift that is caused by an incoming train. This is an underground railway station, for your information. And so the baffle blades were specifically managed to a size of 25 mm wide to by 250 mm deep system. Another picture of the same system that you would see out here. One is also a similar baffles that we have done in China. The only difference is that we have brought in some wood finishes out here. So you would see that the baffles are quite interesting with its wood finish and special colors. And again, in Beijing Metro Line 6, one of the requirements that came up was they wanted to do the baffles in a way that replicates the uh, monument, which is the Forbidden City. And even if you notice, the ends basically are they have a very specific etching that has been replicated exactly to the same logo or the same design that could be seen on the Forbidden City. So it looks like a series of pergola, which have been laid out in the center and looks like a roof eave. And again, another example where we have done baffle at an angular installation. Very interesting. And apart from that, we've also done an open ceiling or open cell ceiling, which is quite common in retail kind of spaces. And we have also used it in an example in the Terraspol station at Poland. Some more examples of what we have done. It's not just baffles that Armstrong does. We can also do flat ceilings. We can do interesting shapes and forms. So I thought I would run you through some of them. So this is another example of Metro Line 14 in Beijing, where it was a flat ceiling with a very specific edge detail that the customer wanted. What you would see on the right hand top corner is a blown up detail of how these tiles would look at their end. So these tiles were the end details were specifically fabricated to come up with this requirement. Right. Another interesting example at Wolverhampton in UK, where the corridor is actually curving up. So many times when you install a standard plank or a tile, it's not going to meet up with the radius of curvature. So we had to design the panels in a trapezoidal manner to meet up with the changes in the radius of curvature and thereby attaining this very special effect. Again, a very interesting example of island ceilings that are placed closer to each other. So you could actually see a gap between each one of those large panels, but each one of those panels have been suspended independently. And again, this is a very, very interesting example of how we can integrate the light fixtures and other services into the ceiling. So we have a system which is called as the BH300 or the fast track ceilings, where we have specific zones where the light fittings can be put. And in fact, we offer services where we can specifically cut out our ceiling at the factory itself. So that the only thing that can be done at the site is installation of fixtures. So there's no messy cutting and working at site. Another example of a flat ceiling, but this one is a very different material. This is an expanded mesh. This gives a kind of an open feeling. Again, this has been installed in the system, which we would call as the hook-on system. At we have a lot of stations where we have done curvilinear installations. So the first example that I wanted to run you through was Alder Station. Alder is a station in the city of Sochi in Russia, which is very famous for Winter Olympics. So here, the combination of uh, colors and the interesting system that has been used is what is called as an RH215 hook-on. The panels themselves are not curved, but the suspension system or the grid that carries the panels have been curved so as to get the curvilinear effect. Another example where we have done a curved installation is Beijing Line 6, Metro Line 6, where we have curved the panel itself to that specific radius. You could see that the radius of curvature is quite steep. So this is one interesting example of how we can uh, uh, do a ceiling in two different ways. This is Bangkok station in Singapore, the Bangkok Metro Rail Station, MRTS station. Very interesting thing is that the perforations were specifically done. It's a very, very special kind of a perforation. And each of those panels have a kind of a lock and key mechanism. So you could actually open up each one of them with a very special key that had been provided. So this is a very, very custom made kind of solution to the specific customer. And of course, when we talk of a lot of stations here in India are not subgraded, they are actually above the ground. And there are genuine concerns about installing ceilings in a platform, right? I mean, there could be issues like wind uplift, there could be issues like uh, weathering or rains and other weather elements that can actually corrode the ceiling in the long term. So some examples of what we have done in India is one is we have done the Varanasi railway station. And the other one is that we're currently doing is the Ranchi railway station, which is under progress. And hopefully we'll be able to share you more pictures of it as we go ahead. So we have quite a lot of systems that are and that can be used for exterior ceilings. So what you would see out here is a simple clip-in system, which where the panels actually go inside a specific clip, and this entire system has been designed for a wind uplift factor of 1.5 kV. This is another example of an RH200 or the hook-on system, which has been used in an exterior ceilings. So apart from the wind that is there outside, there is also a little bit of an uplift effect that is brought in by the incoming train. So the system has been designed that each of those panels have been locked onto the grid system, only to be designed using a very, very special axis. Of course, quite a lot of interesting finishes are possible. It's not just white colored ceilings, but we can offer special colors in RAL, and we can also offer wood finishes. So here, as you would see, we also have very, very interesting details where we can integrate the light fittings, and we can provide very special lighting troughs or even for other services. So you don't need to uh, uh, disturb the entire ceiling plane for putting up your lights. And this is a very interesting linear looking ceiling that has been installed in West Haven, Connecticut, in US, where you would see that the railway platform is very similar to how it is in India. It's like a canopy. And right below the canopy, the linear looking ceilings have been installed. Right, and this is another station where we have achieved the curved ceiling with another different system, which is called as a wood metalworks vector. And here again, the panels are flat, but the installation system has been curved. Of course, we can not just install the flat panels, we can also do mesh ceilings for the exterior, and that has been specifically designed for these kind of load applications. So these are all the interesting ceilings that can be done. And of course, I mean, ceilings improve the look of the station by leaps and bounds. And I'd like to finish off on the ceilings part with a quote which was made by George Sandylance, an architect, where he says that the in every single a great building or a great interior, ceilings are the most spectacular part of that space. So every time when you look up, you're actually going to look at a ceiling. And if the ceilings are great, the buildings are going to look great. So with that, I also wanted to take a few minutes to talk about a product that we are actually coming up as a response to COVID, which is a UVC-based technology that can kill coronavirus germs, basically. So it's a germicidal UV light that we have designed that could be integrated with the standard grid systems. And apart from that, not just that, it can be used independently also. A little bit about what has happened is many times we sanitize surfaces using sanitizer. We sanitize our hands, but many times it's also proven that these viral particles also get transmitted through air. So the droplet spread in space is unavoidable when somebody speaks or sneezes. And it's not just that, it's the droplet concentration can actually increase over time. And as you would see on the right hand side, you actually see a person sneezing or talking basically. The blue particles are the particles which are uh, uh, the dust particles, basically, sorry, the sneeze particles. But you would also see that there are certain red particles which are like dust, and they stay in the air for much more than 4 minutes. So this study which was done, it could very clearly be seen that the particles stay, the viral particles stay much longer than the person itself. So the person can come, speak, or sneeze and leave the room, but the viral particles are going to stay there for much, much longer time. And especially in a closed space when there is no specific, I mean, the air changes are not as fast as it is required. Uh, this can stay for a much longer time. And in fact, coming to air changes, in an interior space, when you have an air conditioning that is not designed to disinfect, this infection can actually pass from one room to another. So that's a little bit of a concern here, right? So yes, I mean, one could say that you could constantly fumigate, but it's not possible to continuously fumigate the air inside the room. UVC or ultraviolet C radiations are best for sterilization without chemicals, basically. And it is known that, as you would see in the graph out here, the peak germicidal frequency of light is from 240 to 280 nanometers. And the good thing to know is that UVC is much lesser harmful than the UVA and UVB rays that are found abundantly in the sun, especially in the areas where there is a very thin ozone layer. Of course, I mean, when we compare the options available to clean the room, you could talk about ozone being a killer, basically. And again, we could chlorinate, but they don't check all the boxes when it comes to safety. And that's where UVC, as you would see on the table, which is on the lower right-hand corner, uh, checks all the boxes when it comes to killing and efficiency of killing the germs, as well as on the safety aspect. I talk about it a little further down, right? This a little study that was actually done in computational fluid dynamics, which actually shows the efficacy of sanitizing spray. So assume that you have in a room a sanitizing spray that is constantly uh, throwing aerosol particles. Aerosol particles are nothing but very, very fine, misty liquid particles, right? Into the air, right? I mean, one major issue with aerosol spray of sanitizer is that its efficacy of killing the viral particle is very, very less because space is actually quite large, and if, it's not possible to penetrate every single uh, molecule of air and every single place where a coronavirus is there. So if you take a random sample of that space, it is seen that 99% of the coronavirus and 99% of the sanitizing spray never intersect with each other. So the kill rate is less than 1%. And that being said, when we actually operate the sanitizing spray, you would notice that sanitizing spray is not being spread evenly. And that is very clearly seen in the thermal imaging that is there on the top right hand corner. Right. So this effectively says that sanitizer are great for surfaces, but not necessarily good when it comes to sanitizing air. That is where we talk about the UVC Luftreiniger. UVC Luftreiniger is a LED-based UV light, which is a very interesting innovation and patented technology. And this is very small. The piece of light is actually very easy and portable to carry, less than an inch by inch of profile size, and about 4 inches of length, basically. Uh, the best part about this is that it easily integrates with a standard ceiling system. It continuously purifies the air. So the LED lights basically have to be positioned against any source of air supplied to that room. It could be a simple fan. It could be on an HVAC diffuser or a duct. And it's a simple plug and play, right? I mean, it's got an adapter set. You could just plug it into your electricity source and it starts working, and it works 24/7. So it can operate 24/7. It's got this LED, so it can operate, and the operating life is more than 20,000 hours with a very low maintenance cost, right? And one would question how efficient and what is the efficacy of UVC lamp in killing the microbes. And that's where we would want to show you some research that has been done. So this basically is an example of, so what you see on the left hand side is actually a banana that's placed on a table, and a thermal image of the banana actually shows that there is a lot of microbial activity. So the more reddish you get, the more is the activity. So you would see that there is a red spot on the banana, and that would correspond to roughly around 88 to 89 degree Fahrenheit. Now, this banana has been exposed to the UVC LED for roughly about 5 minutes. And you would see that the hotspot in that banana has actually come down from an 89 degree Fahrenheit to roughly about 81 or 82 degree Fahrenheit. So which clearly shows that the bacterial activity has subsided substantially. And similar examples that we have actually done with uh, E. coli samples and plate agar samples, basically. So where we have put it inside a room where uh, so the plates, so you would see that there is a set of plates on the left and there is a plate on the right. So the plate on the left is covered and kept in a standard room condition. The plate on the right is actually installed inside a room where it has been exposed to the UVC rays for about 15 minutes. Right, so you would see that the colony of E. coli, which is one of the deadliest bacteria, which is there and which can cause a lot of hospital-based infections, there on the right-hand side. And the plate count agar samples on the bottom actually also shows that the 15 minutes of exposure actually kills these bacteria effectively. And finally, the big question is also whether how good is it when it comes to human safety, right? So we have actually checked it as per EN ISO 15858, which tests um, the radiation levels around the light, which is specifically checked for the UV frequencies. So you would see that when it is close, very close to the light, it has about 450 microwatts per centimeter square. But at the same time, when you place the meter at the back of the panel or on the side of the panel, or even about a feet away from the panel, you would see that the readings have come which could effectively uh, now bring up um, the increase in people moving around, right? And it could give much more confidence of traveling around in a very, very safe manner. Thank you again for listening to this, and thank you for giving the opportunity.